ask questions. You know, when you get that call, ask, hey, are there any siblings?
Right off the bat, please just tell me, why did you get into foster care in the first place?
For me personally, you know, I have fertility issues, right? And I know I did not want to go down the route of private adoption. You know what I'm saying? Due to, you know, how expensive it was and all of that. So, you know, I said, let me get into fostering. Um, you know, love a child like they're my own, with the hopes of adopting them, and you know, it would also be affordable for me. So, and I wanted to be a parent and, you know, help raise a child and stuff. Raise a child. 2018. So from beginning to end, it took me about 5 months from when I started submitting my paperwork and all of that information. Um, so it was kind of lengthy, and then, you know, they can give you a call at any time. It wasn't a challenge for me. You know, I just, you know, treated, you know, I'm my first foster child, right? Like they were my own, you know? And I guess that does come to, at some point with fostering, you kind of have to put your own personal feelings aside. So sometimes treating the child like they were your own can come to bite you in the butt. But I approached it like, you know, this was my child, and that was the only way I knew how to approach it. You know? And so I was literally here at home, not expecting a call at all, because I thought I'd get like an email notifying me, hey, your license is complete, all of that. Nope, I got a call from my licensing specialist with the foster agency I'm with, notifying me, hey, we have a 13-month-old, you know, little girl. Would you be interested? Right? My initial reaction was like, oh, you know, I kind of wanted to say no. I didn't feel like I was ready. You know, at the time, here I think I was doing my hair, and I'm like, what? You know, wasn't expecting the call. I wasn't expecting the call. And so I said, you know what? This is what I signed up for. You know what I'm saying? This is what I signed up for. Let me go ahead and say yes. So I scrambled and, you know, got everything ready that I needed for my first foster child, you know, to bring her home that evening and stuff like that. So, and then now, uh, when they briefed me on, you know, my first foster child, they just said, hey, um, she's a 13-month-old little girl, right? I didn't get any background per se on, I didn't get much background on her case or any of her family or anything like that, right?
Thing they called me, they're like, hey, this is a 5-day-old boy. Are you going to take him? That's it. Actually, 2 days. 2-day-old boy. Will you take him? That was it.
Yeah. They don't give you much info, right? They don't give you much info at all. I got a call the following week letting me know, hey, um, your foster daughter has a brother. He was just born. Will you be willing to take?
Wait a minute. A week after you took
Mhm.
child, then they told you? A week after?
Because I got my foster daughter August 29th, 2018, right? And her brother was born like September, sorry, I can't get too specific, but he was born the following week. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah. And me being, a first-time mom and all of that, I, did say no, right? A newborn and a 13-month-old, and, me not, having much parental experience, I said no. And so anyway.
Well, tell me about that experience right there. Saying no to a sibling must have been pretty hard. I think you did the right thing, the right choice, but how did it come about? How did you feel about it?
I had not, I didn't get to know her brother, so I didn't get emotional. I didn't feel any way in the beginning, right? I never met him, and I was just taking it day by day, right? And again, throughout the whole process, hey, I got to meet your family, you know what I'm saying, which was wonderful. Yes, there were some growing pains in me, being a first-time mom and stuff like that. My foster daughter would go to daycare and, she'd get sick and stuff like that, which would scare me at times and stuff like that. But, for the most part, I'd say things were positive until, we were given an ultimatum. Hey, it's either, the kids have to be placed together in one home, right? This was, I want to say, 9 months or 10 months into me having my foster daughter. The state came and said, hey, you guys have to make a decision, but, the kids have to be under one roof. Getting into
Those who don't know, your daughter and my son, siblings.
Yes.
So I ended up taking the boy, you had the girl, so we went through this together.
I was bonded, attached to my foster daughter, right? I knew, her brother and stuff like that, but didn't get a chance to really bond per se. You know what I'm saying? And my family was very attached to my foster daughter as well. So when I told them the news that, hey, we were given this ultimatum, and I didn't think that I could take on I could handle both children at one time and work and, things like that. They were disappointed, there were tears, and, and yeah, so I felt pressured, right? And I felt, hey, also I didn't want to give up my foster daughter. So I said, hey, I can do this. I can handle 2 kids by myself. And, I could have done it, right? I did do it for a month and a half, but it got managing all the responsibilities that I had in my life at the time, work, caring for the children, accommodating visits, taking them to, doctor's visits and things like that. Things were ramping up to me in the case at that time. We were being asked to do a lot more, and it was getting hard for me to juggle the responsibilities. So I did have to, give the kids up. It was rough. It was difficult. I had to give both kids up, and they were placed in your care. And you and your family did a great job. But
well, tell me about that experience, though, of having to give up
give them up. I think what I wish, to be honest, number one, Yes, we should always put the kids' interest ahead of ours and stuff like that. But I wish, the state and our foster agencies take into consideration, the feelings, the wishes, um, the mental health of the foster parents, right? Because, you come to us 10 months into the situation and say, hey, somebody got to give a kid up. You know what I'm saying? When, this could have been, the process could have been, much smoother, I would say, if, hey, as soon as a foster parent was available that could take both children, they probably should have been placed there instead of, dragging it out. I would say, number one, ask questions when they give you what they call you. Yeah, ask as many questions as you can. Just besides how old the child is and, stuff like that. Definitely come up with some additional questions to ask the case manager that calls you. Make sure that you have a support system. Make sure you have a good support system that, maybe they can pick the child up when you can't from school, or help you with taking them to doctor's appointments and things like that,
Because you have a job, so that's a lot to juggle for a person. How did you juggle all that?
I made it happen. I made it happen. I did. I leaned on my mom. I leaned on my dad's family and stuff like that. So definitely having a support system is key. And then also just being aware, prepping your family, right? Prepping your family and letting them know, hey, if you accept, a placement and stuff like that, look, this kid, could go back to their family. Or, yeah, this kid could go back to their family. There will be a case where you might not be able to adopt the child. Right now, emotionally, to be honest, I am taking it day by day, right? Just overall, there's a lot going on in the world right now. You can foster, but there's no promise that you'll be able to adopt any placement, right? That you are called about. The child is not up for adoption until parental rights have been terminated. I'm willing to foster again, right? But I'm going to ask a lot of questions on the front end. The child advocates juggle too many cases. We're not briefed on the cases enough in the beginning. I think the foster agencies and, hey, even ChildNet could be, hello? Okay. Sorry, somebody called. I think ChildNet, the foster agencies, they could be more supportive, with foster parents after they give up their children, right? Some type of mental health services, something, for the foster parents, because, of course, we worry about the children and all of that. But, sometimes these kids are young and they don't remember some of the traumas, right? But we're adults. We remember the traumas, and we might not, get over the traumas as easily, right?
By the way,
that we experience.
we had the same concern, and we brought it to our caseworker's attention when we did the exit interview. And she said that, yes, they do have services for us after we give up the kids. I didn't know. So if that's a service that you need, reach out to your caseworker. You may still get it. We found out too late. Like, we needed it time ago. But, you know, it is.
That's about it.
Okay. All right. Well, Noelle, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.